Starting off this video with something, well, a very short cooking demonstration, I guess. I haven't bothered to show you all of the prep because the prep is pretty easy with this. Something I never made before, but I'm interested in trying them. Refrigerator dill pickles. So they're not canned or anything. They're kept in the refrigerator, and it says that they should stay good to eat for up to 6 weeks. So the ingredients are 3½ cups of water, 1¼ cups of white vinegar, a tablespoon of sugar, and a tablespoon of non-iodized salt. I used a non-iodized sea salt. And then it says 4 cups of cucumber spears. Well, I'm sorry, but how on earth would you measure 4 cups of cucumber spears? I cut up some cucumbers. And then we have 2 cloves of garlic. I think I used 3 because mine were relatively small. And 2 heads of fresh dill. Those are all in there already. I haven't added the brine to it yet, but put the cover on just so I could show you the dill and the garlic and whatever in the bottom, and the spears on top. I will put the link to this recipe at the bottom of the video here. It's from allrecipes.com. So if you go to allrecipes.com and do a search for refrigerator dill, I'm sure it will come up. All of the liquid ingredients, the water, the vinegar, and then the salt and the sugar, you bring to a boil and then completely cool. Almost completely covers it, I guess. Have to push them down a little bit, maybe as they pickle or whatever. And it says to refrigerate them for at least 3 days before you try them. So I'm not going to be trying them on this video, but it's a very simple little recipe. I'm anxious to try it, so I thought maybe you might be interested. I've used the 2 kinds of cucumbers that I'm growing, the standard green pickling cucumber and also the Boothby's blonde cucumber. So looking forward to trying some refrigerator dills. Well, most of the quail are around 2 weeks old now, so I've just moved them out and put them in the coop. I'm not letting them out into their exercise yard pen area for at least another week or so. I just have a brooder lamp set up in there with them. That window that you can see down at the back of the coop has a screen, and I have that open so it won't get too hot in there in the daytime. As a screen, plus I've put chicken wire over the top of the screen to prevent any predators from getting in. The little white one going across there now is the last one that hatched, the one that hatched in the waste paper can. I'm quite sure that it is the Texas A&M, which I think is the same as an English white. Doing quite well. I noticed when I brought them out, I have a number of the just ordinary brown type of quail, traditional Coturnix Japanese type quail, but I seem to have at least 2 sizes, so I think I've got 2 breeds there. Some of them are easily twice, maybe 3 times the weight of the little ones, and that one that just walked across with the bow tie, that's a tuxedo quail. Seem to have settled in quite nicely. They've only been out there for 2-3 hours, I guess. That white rectangular thing at the back is a feeder that's designed for quail. There's 2 troughs, one either side of it. And it works very well with the Bob Whites. I don't know how well it's going to work with these guys. They've just started pecking at it, but the chick feeder that I was using in the brooder, if there's that tuxedo guy in there, it was amazing how fast they would empty it, and they weren't eating it. I mean, they were eating plenty, but they were just leaving it in the litter, and they were carrying it quite a ways away. I don't know what their game was, so I'm hoping they don't do that with this one. And that's the same quail water fountain that I used in the brooder. It is designed specifically for quail so that they won't drain drown in it, not drain. They won't drown in it. That's a little look at the quail. I guess what I should mention is I haven't had any losses. I still have all 20, and as of right now, they're all looking quite healthy. Well, hopefully I haven't left this so late in the evening that it's too dark for you to see what I'm doing. It's after 8 p.m. here. These are the Linzer Delikatess, and I'm harvesting these for the same reason that I did the Charlottes last week. They've just died off on their own. They are an early variety, so I'm hoping that was just the way things were supposed to happen. A little damper than I thought it would be. I haven't watered it in quite some time. Evidently it still held the moisture. And this once again is with 2 seed potatoes. It's a nice long one. They are a type of a fingerling, at least I would call them a fingerling. They're not a large potato. That's what I'm getting there, is pretty much the size that I expected to see. Previous clip where you saw the quail, and I bragged that I hadn't lost any. Well, I can't make that brag anymore. I don't know what happened. If it got too hot in the coop this afternoon, I was gone for a couple of hours. Anyway, when I got back, there were 3 of the nice biggest ones there that had passed away while I was gone. And right now I think there's a 4th one that's not going to make it. So my nice record of not losing any doesn't stand anymore. And another thing that I've been meaning to mention on these videos, the last couple of videos, and I remember it once I've put it up online and didn't mention it once again, that the experiment that I was doing growing azaleas from cuttings, that also was a complete failure for me. One of my subscribers, John, calls himself the Gimpy Gardener, gave me an explanation which to me makes sense. He asked me what I was using as a medium to grow them in, and I was using a seed starting mix, mostly, peat moss and perlite. And he said, well, azaleas or rhododendrons are acid loving, and those mixes, seed starting mixes, have some lime mixed into them. So that might explain the failure. I think I'll try it again next year, and I'll just use regular garden soil and see if I have any better luck, because I would like to propagate a couple of those. Well, that's, I think, a reasonable haul. I'm not going to make a guess, because the last time I did that I was way off with the weight. But I will weigh these, and the weight will appear on the screen here. So. Well, day 2 here. I guess probably day 3, since I started with the pickles 3 days ago. And it said to try them at the end of 3 days, so I have been filming for over a 3-day period. I'll close this off with a taste of the refrigerator dill pickles. Not going to have a large blueberry crop this year, for For some reason, there weren't a lot of blossoms on my, well, I guess I only have like 5 high bush blueberries, and they're being attacked by something that grows a big clump, like if you know what a witch's broom is on a spruce tree. Same sort of thing is happening on these, which I think is eventually going to kill them, but they're a nice size, and actually there is a bush just further on. I have 2 varieties. You do that for cross-pollination, and this is the smaller of the berries. Maybe I'll take a shot of the other ones, but they're half again as large as this, so hopefully there'll be enough to make a batch of jam anyway. Hopefully the difference shows, but these are a much larger berry. I no longer know what the name of either variety is. These plants have been here for 25 years or so. I don't see the sense in replacing them, because whatever that virus is that's causing the problem, I'm sure would attack the next batch as well. The Hokkaido pumpkins, or red curry squash, same critter I guess, are doing very well. I haven't counted. Those are 2 of the larger ones there, and well, if I can get a hand down in there to give you an idea or not without stepping on something else and destroying it here. But I guess the one further to the right there is a bit larger than the other one, but I have a lot that are smaller than that. I don't know, I must have at least a dozen of them. I say I haven't counted, but they are doing very well. I have a number of the Georgia candy roaster squash. This is the largest. Several that are getting up close to that size. It still appears to be getting larger, and it's still a very light yellow or white, and it's a tan color when they're ripe. So I'm still not seeing any of the cuckoos, the Serpente de Sicilia there, the crooked Sicilian squash. Lots of male flowers. I've never found a female flower yet. And my Waltham buttercup, I can see blossom buds, but there's never been a blossom on one of them yet. And I see male and female blossom buds, so hopefully in the next week or so there's hope of something happening there. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought carrots were biennial. These are the packet of mixed colored carrots, and I have 3 of them that have bolted and are going to bloom and produce seeds in their first season. These are the multiplier, or potato onion type of shallot. Ready to pick, I'm sure, but I'm not harvesting all of them, just because of the theory that the onion scent keeps the carrot maggot away, and I have carrots growing down the center of the aisle, so I won't be pulling them out just yet, all of them. I've used a few. They're very nice. That's about the larger size, I think. The ones that had 5 in that cluster. The ones that have more in the cluster, of course, they're smaller. But that's what they look like at this point anyway, and I have been using them. They're quite good. Trying to hold that branch so that you can see some of the second flush of figs that are coming on my tree here. There are 5 on that little branch, and there are several more branches like that. The first flush, I didn't really get anything out of it. I do still see one that I don't know if it's ripening or just turning yellow to fall off. But anyway, we still have hope, and maybe some in late summer here. Well, I am getting some eggplant, but I'm disappointed they're not what I thought I was growing. I thought I bought the seed for those long, light purple colored Asian eggplant, and what I'm getting is these, well, the typical dark colored ones that you get in the grocery store. I suspect they're not going to be anywhere near that size, but at least I'm getting some eggplant. These are the yellow Mennonite tomatoes, seeds that came originally from Halvor. Last year I seem to remember that they turned a lemon yellow color, and this year it seems to have some orange tinge to it, unless it's going to turn lemon yellow later on. I'm wondering if perhaps this particular plant, anyway, is the only one that's got anything on it that's looking ripe. I'm wondering if it didn't cross-pollinate with something last year. And they also don't seem to be as large as the ones that I grew last year. Hindsight, of course, is always better than what you're seeing in front of you. I have been eating the red tomatoes off of the parthenocarpic plant, the one that doesn't require any pollination, any male blossoms, or doesn't, I guess tomatoes don't have male blossoms anyway, but it doesn't require bees to pollinate it in order for it to produce a fruit, and it's been doing quite well. And I was surprised, shouldn't have been surprised, I guess, if it hasn't been pollinated, there aren't any seeds. So it's also a seedless tomato and quite tasty. I'm quite sure I'll grow it again another year. Starting to see quite a few female blossoms on the Oka melon, and that one there is looking like it was pollinated. It still has the blossom on the end of it, but the fruit behind it there, the fuzzy thing, see what I'm looking at here, that's quite large, quite a bit larger than it was when the blossom first opened. So hopefully that's my first growing melon, and I see many more, so we'll get to try some Oka melons hopefully before August is over. The dwarf sunflowers in the middle of the squash patch are looking quite good, and hopefully that's attracting more pollinators. I don't happen to see anything on them right now. Yes, I do. One I see a bee crawling around on. I've seen some bees that to me are looking very close to a honeybee, but I don't know of anybody around here who is keeping beehives. So it's probably just one of the solitary bees. And if you can see that bit of pink off to the side, that's my fault. It's all over my property. It's very invasive. It's called Himalayan jewelweed, or impatiens, Himalayan impatiens. It grows 7-8 feet tall and has all of those nice blossoms on it, and then it produces a seed pod that when you touch it, it snaps and throws the seeds. Well, it spreads, but I like the thing. I like things that spread like that. So I'm going to go now and do some work on the quail pen. I'm going to move them outside earlier than I thought I was going to move them down into the yard, but I'm going to put their brooder lamp down there with them because it's another hot sunny morning here, and they're still in the shade, so they're all right now, but I don't want to take any more chances. Well, as I said, it's been 3 days. I'm going to check and see what I think of them at the 3-day point. Anyway, I want to get one that's been well down in the brine. It's not a very briny brine. It only has a tablespoon of salt and also a tablespoon of sugar. Quite nice. They still have a great crunch and a mild dill and garlic flavor at this point. And the vinegar, you can taste the vinegar, of course. But I think another week or so they'll be quite nice. I can already taste the dill, and they've only been in there for 3 days. And of course, being fresh, not having ever been exposed to heat or anything with canning them, they're extremely crunchy. Well, to close this video off, I'll show you the habitat that the surviving quail are living in. I ended up losing 5 altogether, which is very disappointing. My own stupidity. I just didn't think it would get that hot in there with the window open, but it definitely did. They seem quite content now after I've moved them, so I'll show you what that looks like. Well, as you can see, I moved the quail, their food and water, and the brooder lamp down into the open pen area. This is completely enclosed with hardware cloth, and hardware cloth buried into the ground. There isn't any danger of predators getting in at them or anything. Daytime temperature right now is 22 degrees, and they don't seem to be gathering under the brooder lamp, so I think they're quite comfortable with the 22 degree temperature. But at night it's been going down to 15 or 16 degrees, so I'm sure they will go over and get under the light. The little door you can see at the top of the ramp isn't open yet, but I'm going to open that up. If they do want to walk up the ramp and into the coop area for any reason, they can do that, but I doubt if they do. One of the reasons why I was using the brooder lamp up in the coop area, I was trying to get them used to that area, because the bobwhite never did really use it. Occasionally one would go up there and walk around. But anyway, I will let you finish the video if you're interested in watching the quail. That's all there is left. It's just a bit more of the quail walking around in their new environment. And thank you very much for watching.